Alright, so we got a 2009 Toyota Prius in here. All we're doing today on this is changing the oil and draining out the transmission fluid, whatever we can get out from the drain plug, and then refilling it. The best way to do that is to, obviously you're going to jack up the driver's side here and get under there and take the plug out, and I'll show you all that. But what you want to do is use a clean pan to drain the fluid in. Make sure there's nothing else in it, and drain out the fluid, whatever you can get out of it. Usually, I think on these, about 3 or 4 quarts you can drain out through the drain plug without doing an actual flush. And anyway, you'll drain it out into a pan and then measure what you drained out and put that amount back in. Is the easiest way to do it on these, because there's no dipstick tube or anything. And these newer cars with these sealed transmissions, it's just easier to measure what you take out and then put that exact amount back in. So these take a special CVTF FE transmission fluid from Toyota. It's pretty expensive. I think it's about 25 bucks a quart. We bought this here. I'll kind of go over it a little bit, but this is a genuine Toyota part, and I would only use this fluid in the Prius. And pretty much any manufacturer that you have nowadays, it's better just to go to the dealer and get the correct fluid than trying to use something else. So that's what we got here. So first thing we'll do, we'll just jack it up and find the drain plug on this and start draining it out. And I'll kind of show you where that's at on these. And refilling these is kind of a pain. You have to have either a real long, flexible funnel or some other way to get the fluid back in. But anyway, we'll go over that once we get it up in the air a little bit. Normally what I do is jack it up, put a pan under it, and then let the jack back down. I don't crush the actual drain pan, but you could jack it up on all 4 and keep it level and drain it that way. But I usually just jack it up on the corner, get under there, take the plug out, and then let the jack back down and let it do its thing for a while. So that's what we're going to do on this one. So anyway, I'm going to get it up in the air, and then I'll show you where that drain plug's at for the transmission. Alright, once you get it up in the air, you should see the transmission here, the bottom of it. And here's the drain plug on it, and this is a 10 millimeter. So Allen. So just get a 10 mil Allen, put it in there, and then loosen it up and start draining it out. Alright, once you get it loose, you should be able to take it out the rest of the way by hand. And like I said, I think most of these hold about 4 quarts when you drain them this way. You're obviously not going to get all the transmission fluid out of it when you do it this way. So if you wanted to flush your entire transmission, you'd have to do this several times, probably 3 or 4 times. Drive it, change the fluid like this, drive it, and drain it out, and then drive it. So what I'm going to do now is strain it out into a pan. I'm going to lower the car back down, take my jack stand out, and lower the car back down, and just let it drain into the pan. Get as much out as I can. Like I said. Alright, so it's been sitting about 5 minutes or so, letting it drain. Now this plug does have a magnet on the end of it, so you're going to want to take a towel and wipe it off, and then usually I spray it down a little bit of brake clean and clean it up the rest of the way so it looks almost brand new. And anyway, so once that stops coming out, you can put the plug back in, and the torque on that's 29 foot-pounds to retighten it. And then you're just going to kind of follow the plug up till you get up. It's hard to get you in there, but if you follow this line right here on the transmission, the plug is right up there, and it's 24 millimeter, I believe. And just get it up there and loosen it. So this is where the plug is at, right there. And I've already cracked it loose a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and take that out, and then we'll start refilling it. So here's what I got out of it right here. This is not a real big pan, and I'm going to take that fluid and then we'll measure it and see how much we took out, which on, like I said, on a Prius, I think it's usually around 4 quarts. So I'll show you how to do that real quick, and then we'll refill this thing. But first thing I'll do is take this plug out the rest of the way, and then we'll pull this pan out from underneath here and measure it. Alright, so this is how I measure how much I take out. I have an old oil jug, 5-quart oil jug that I use. I keep around the shop just for measuring things. So all I'm going to do is just pour in that pan whatever came out of the transmission into here, and then you just use the measuring on the side here to figure out how much you need to put back in. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then we'll see. I'm guessing it's around 4 quarts usually on these. Alright, so we got it all out. We're almost at 4. It's about 3.5, maybe, well, just a little over 3. Probably 3 1/4, 3.5. So we're going to measure that out and put that amount back in the transmission. Alright, so I'm a dipstick. I was looking at the quart instead of the, or I was looking at the liter instead of the quart. So it was almost 4 quarts on this box, or on this jug. So it is almost 4 quarts. I was looking at the wrong. Alright, so once you get the drain plug back in, you got the 24mm bolt back out. You're going to want to fill it from the top. And what I used here is just it's one funnel, but I put an extra hose on the end of that funnel to make it longer. And you're just going to fish it down into here, and then you're going to refill it. You know, get underneath there, put it in the hole, and then you're going to refill it to whatever you took out. Now we took out a little bit under 4 quarts, so I put a little bit more than what I put in there, and that way when it starts to come out the hole, then you know it's full. So there's a couple ways you can do it. You can measure it and then do it that way, or you can put the car up on, you know, get it up on all 4 level and just fill it till the fluid starts to come out of the hole. Once that fluid, the new fluid starts to come out of the hole, you're full, and then you can just plug it. So if you put a little extra in there than what you took out and put it in, then you should get a little, you know, then when you're filling it, the extra will start to come out of the hole, and then you know you're good. So we did that. That's pretty much it for changing the fluid. Now, when you do that, you're not changing all the fluid out of the transmission. You're just changing, you know, what's on the bottom, whatever. So if you wanted to do a complete transmission flush, you would have to do this probably 2 or 3 times over the course of a month or so to get only the new fluid in, unless you have a special machine or whatever to flush it. So, but it is still good to change that amount of fluid and get new fluid in the transmission regardless. So that's pretty much it on where the fill plug and drain plug is on a Toyota Prius. This is a 08. I think they're similar from like 05 to 09 or something like that. I think the newer generations are a little bit different, but this one should work for this generation here. They should all be pretty much the same. So thanks for watching. Hope to catch you on the next one. Have a good day, and God bless.